Alright, so we're going to are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. Our night of Champions League action continues as now we watch OL Lyonnes take on VFL Wolfsburg. Two sides with a lot of history in this competition. Lyonnes, the all-time record winners of this competition. Wolfsburg have also been a very competitive side over the last few decades. More recently though, neither side has won the competition in the last two editions, and these two will be hoping to get back to the premium levels of this competition, looking for the finals, looking to the semi-finals this year. So this will be an early test for both of them to see where they both are at. Lyonnes have had a good start to the campaign. They beat Arsenal in match week 1 and then a rotated side had a very comfortable match week 2, while Wolfsburg, they were very comfortable in match 1 against PSG when they faced Vålerenga not last week, but last time out. That wasn't exactly a favourable fixture, but they got through it 2-1. They didn't play incredibly well, but they won it in the end. So both sides come in with perfect records, albeit OL Lyonnes with a lot more confidence. So how will that fare tonight? Well, that is the big question, but we'll be here for all the action, so make sure to get involved in the live chat and join us what should be a very exciting Champions League matchup. But yeah, I'm loving the league phase so far. We've had action across the games throughout this competition. It has been, well, chaotic. We've already seen this earlier today, as I've just finished streaming, a dramatic game between Vålerenga and between Roma. That was a very tight game. Vålerenga just edging that one. But who will come out on top here? We'll also be keeping tabs on the other games tonight as Chelsea take on SKN St Pölten, looking to continue their victorious ways after their win last time out in the Champions League and make up for what was a little bit of a messy start to the Champions League as they drew with Twente. And of course, Real Madrid taking on Paris FC as well, as Real Madrid look to make it 3 wins from 3. Paris FC looking to bounce back. They lost to OH Leuven last time out, which was a little bit disappointing. Or drew, sorry, to OH Leuven in the first game week, then lost to Chelsea 4-0 last time out. So work for them to do as well. So that should be a good game. So we'll be keeping tabs on those, but our focus will be on OL Lyonnes VFL Wolfsburg. We don't have long till kickoff. So we'll start with the lineups for tonight's game. We'll start with the hosts, OL Lyonnes. It is a 4-3-3 for Graldez's side. In goal, it's Christine Endler. A back four of Tatiane, Renard, Engen and Batcher. In the midfield 3, it's Heaps, Dumornay and Corbin Schrader. And then a front line of Diani, Brand and Lena Line, Ada Hegerberg. Very strong side for OL Lyonnes, as to be expected. Slight rotation with no involvement for Mary Antoinette Katoto from the start. Tabitha Chewinga, another one not starting in this game, but broadly a very strong side for OL Lyonnes. Melchi Dumornay, probably their player of the tournament so far. She was excellent on the opening night against Arsenal. Didn't feature in match week 2, but nobody did from OL Lyonnes' starting lineups. That's no discredit on her, but yeah, very impressive Lyon's side. They've been brilliant in the Premier League, but we'd expect nothing less from them. As for the visitors, Wolfsburg, it looks like a 4-4-2 tonight for Wolfsburg, though we know they have used a few different formations in this year's Champions League. In goal, it is Johannes, a back four of Linda, Dijkstra, Kuva and Levels. Then in the midfield 4, which will probably be a lot more narrow than a traditional 4-4-2, it's Zikai, Kierland, Minga and Pedimors. But again, we'd expect something like a 4-1-3-2 rather than a more traditional 4-4-2. 4-4-2 with wide players. And then front line of Alexandra Popp and Annette Berenstein. We've seen a lot of Popp in a bit more of a deeper role this season, so I think we'll see more of that with Popp dropping a little bit deeper, Zekai kicking forwards, Berenstein being the focal point of that attack. And then Wolfsburg working to try and break down OL Lyonnes. It's going to be a tough one though for Wolfsburg. They weren't impressive in the last match day against Vålerenga. This will be a big test for them, where their level is at. I think after the PSG game, we thought that maybe Wolfsburg would be a very competitive side this year. I think we're starting to learn PSG aren't particularly good yet again. But this will be a big test. If they can take the game to Lyon, even if they don't win, but if they can take the game to OL Lyonnes, it will certainly prove a lot about Wolfsburg's level. But that will be difficult. It's a very strong OL Lyonnes side, even with those notable omissions of the likes of Katoto and Chawinga. But yeah, I think Wolfsburg will try and make life difficult for them. How successful they will be remains to be seen. And Lyonnes do have those options off the bench to call upon Vicky Becker, who was excellent in the last game week. They've got Chawinga and Katoto, both rested for today's game. They've got Lily Johannes as well, one of the most highly rated young midfielders in Europe as well. So lots of options off the bench for OL Lyonnes should they require them. So yeah, moving into predictions. If you are watching along the show, get involved in the live chat. Let me know your scoreline prediction. I'll start with mine though. I think it will be a fairly comfortable victory for OL Lyonnes. I think they'll be looking to kick on from what has been a very successful start to the Women's Champions League this year. And then they'll look to go from there. I think they'll be one of the sides to beat at this year's competition. We look at Barcelona, obviously, as well, the sides that will be right up there. Some of the English clubs, the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal, have already dropped points in this year's edition. So vying for top spot will likely be Lyon and Barcelona. It doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of the whole competition, but it definitely lays an early marker that you're the team to beat, and OL Lyonnes will want to be that side, want to be the team to beat in this year's competition. But this is the perfect start to do it. I think Wolfsburg is one of the kinder ties they could have got in pot one. They've already beaten their other pot one opponent in Arsenal, so they come out of this tie unscathed. Well, you'd be a foolish man to bet against OL Lyonnes winning 6 from 6 in the league phase. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, in terms of my prediction for the night, I do think OL Lyonnes will win. I'm going to say OL Lyonnes to win by 3-1. I think they're a very good attacking side. While they are good defensively, I do think Wolfsburg will be able to nick a goal against the run of play. I will say a opener for OL Lyonnes, and it will come from Melchi Dumonet. I think there will be a leveller before half-time from Janina Minga. And in the second half, they will start to take more control, OL Lyonnes, and it'll be goals off the bench from Chawinga. And I will say, I was trying to think of another substitute that I want to give a goal to. I will say it will be Katoto as well. A bit boring, but I think, such a top goal scorer. And if they do need to call upon her this evening, I'm sure she will deliver. So players making their way out of the tunnel now. Get involved in the live chat. Let me know your scoreline prediction. But first, if we can take a look at the poll. 47 votes so far. 81% backing OL Lyonnes to win. 9% going with Wolfsburg. And 11% going for a draw. So yeah, make sure to have your say in the poll. Make sure to have your say in the live chat as well. Drop your scoreline prediction for the game. We'll go through all of them before kickoff. So yeah, if you want to get involved, that is a way to do so. Players out on the field now, the Champions League anthem ringing around the Lyon Stadium, Groupama Stadium, I believe, yes, in Lyon. Rising along to the string, going 2-1 OL, fair enough. I think that is a fair prediction. It'd be interesting to see if Wolfsburg can keep it tight this evening, because I think you look at that Arsenal game, and I think OL Lyonnes were good, but I think they definitely weren't that top level. And while yes, they're in great scoring form in their last Champions League game against St Polten, you'd want to see them do. You would have wanted to see more in that game, even if it was a second team. You would have wanted them to beat Arsenal by a higher margin. So this game again will be a big moment to sort of prove themselves, OL Lyonnes, with a big victory. As Wolfsburg, well, if they can avoid defeat tonight, it shows they're in a much better position than I think a lot of us expected. So yeah, big game for both sides. David Clinton mirroring my prediction then with 3-1 Lyon. I think that is a great prediction, David. Yeah, I think Lyon will be in a good position this evening. I think they played some really nice football this season. It's no secret that I think Giraldez is one of the top managers, probably the best manager in the women's game right now. And so I think that will think that will have a huge impact on OL Lyonnes' ability to go far this season. I think it could be the detriment for Barcelona, because I don't think Pere Romeu is that same level of coach. I think he did really well to get the better of Bonpastor last season. Bonpastor got it massively wrong that day, but I think in a lot of other coaching head-to-heads, he has come out on the wrong side of them. I don't think he's the same level as someone like a Geraldes. So for me, that hands a huge advantage to OL Lyonnes over Barcelona. But I would say Barcelona's squad is probably marginally better. Exchange of emblems then from the captains Renard to Janina Minga, and likewise Elena Antoniou, the referee tonight. Not someone I'm massively familiar with. But we do know we generally get a high standard of officiating in this competition, and VAR being introduced in all stages of the Women's Champions League this season is definitely helpful. I think we've seen it in a fair load of the matches that we've covered on stream so far. No involvement from it earlier today. There wasn't a lot of chances to be spoken about, to be fair, in the game between Roma and Vålerenga. Vålerenga did well to keep Roma quiet for large portions of it, and Roma were so porous at the back. They made life easy for the underdogs. That's what Wolfsburg got to avoid today, making life too easy for OL Lyonnes. Mar Muslim, welcome to the stream, going Lyon 1, Wolfsburg 2. Backing the upset then, going with the 9% of voters who think that Wolfsburg will win this evening. So if you have voted in the poll chat but haven't left your scoreline prediction in the live chat, feel free to do that now, because we are about to get underway here at the Groupama Stadium in Lyon. OL Lyonnes taking on Wolfsburg. And as I say, it's a big test. If they win this, they've won both their pot 1 sides, both their pot 1 ties already, Lyon. And that stands them in really good stead for the rest of this group stage competition, or league phase of the competition. And so it will be Wolfsburg to get us started tonight. And it's Pop who knocks it back, and immediately Wolfsburg are going to try and be direct. Ball goes long, looking for Pop, who flicks it on well to Cora Zikai. Header one though from Wendy Renard, and order is restored as Lyon bring the ball down. Diani, no space to go, they're up against Zikai, tries to poke it through to Lynette Beardenstein. Clearance good though from Wendy Renard, and now OL Lyonnes looking to come forwards. Diani running out of room on the right hand side. Hectic first 30 seconds. Wolfsburg now to slow it down with this throw-in. Kierland back to Dijkstra, out to the right hand side with Sarah Linda. Pass inside to Janina Minga. And she'll go all the way back to goalkeeper Johannes. Now Dijkstra. Options down the line. Goes back across now to Kuva, who knocks it wide into Levels. Back to Johannes. And Wolfsburg very much going for the strategy of if Lyon don't have the ball, they can't score a goal in these early stages. Looking to dictate the tempo. They will now come forwards down the left-hand side. Ball into the channel. Renard, though, wins the foot race for now. Tarchiani, pass inside. Heaps is swamped. Does manage to poke it back to Wendy Renard. And now back to Christine Endler. And OL Lyonnes go from right to left, and it's Selma Batcher into Brand, back to Batcher. And now Renard. Now Diani. Back to Tarchiani. And down the line into Dumornay, who flicks it round the corner brilliantly. Now lays it in behind, and Ada Hegerberg bearing in on goal. Clips it back. It falls to Schrader, who lashes it over the bar. And that's a Lyon move that was less precise than perhaps you'd expect, but almost a successful outcome there. Incisive move down the right-hand side. Hegerberg probably could have done better with the cutback. And Lyon unable to find the target. And already things to think about for Stefan Lurch's side. Wolfsburg undone quite easily there by OL Lyonnes. They'll go direct again. Pop tries with the flick on. Back only to Selma Batcher, who's under pressure but dribbles out of it well. Such a composed player is Selma Batcher. And they'll turn defence into attack now. Terciane will be forced back momentarily to Wendy Renard. And across now to Engen. Eula Brands. Nice pass inside to Dumornay. Tries to feed it through the lines. Doesn't quite find Ada Hegerberg though. And it's headed down now to Selma Batcher. Here's Engen. Back to Batcher. And now Engen again. Terciane goes wide into Diani, holds the width well here. Cadadia Tau Diani, pass inside to Malchi Dumornay, who slips it into Terciane. Nice move into the box. Now chance for Schrader, who slaps it against the crossbar. And a nice move for Lyon there. Unable though to find the target at the end of it. Lovely move though again from OL Lyonnes. Batcher into Brand. Here is Schrader across to Terciane, who takes aim, and it's blocked well by Janina Minger. Kierland doesn't get much distance on that clearance. Drops now for Ingrid Engen. Batcher. Heaps can't quite find that forward pass. And here is Zikai out to the left-hand side. Levels carries it forward. Gianni knocks it out of play. And that will be a Wolfsburg throw-in. And again, it's about game management this evening for VFL Wolfsburg. They've got to be thoughtful about when to commit forwards, when to sit a little bit deeper. They've got to take their chances when they come, and they've got to ride their luck at times as well. That's 2 chances now for Corbin Schrader, where she's been unable to find the back of the net. Big chances, both missed. Ball down the left-hand side, slightly overhit though. And Leve's unable to get there. And no goals yet in any of the first 5 minutes of the Champions League ties this evening. And after a low-scoring affair in the opening kick-off between Roma and Vålerenga, we're hoping for a few more goals this evening to talk about. And here is Selma Batcher. Schrader. Back now to Renard. And now here is Terciane. Has forward options if she can use them. Back now to Renard. Terciane. Renard again. Looks to switch the play. Picks out Selma Batcher. With the switch. Batcher into Hegerberg. Back to Schrader. Now Engen. Here is Renard. Looking to switch the play. Trying to find Eula Brand. Headed away well by Sarai Linda. I think it's good to see Sarai Linda back in for this game. Vedemar gives you a really nice attacking option at right back, but not quite as secure a defensive option. And you know what you're getting with Sarai Linda, a really consistent, reliable, more defensive fullback. It was such a big miss for Germany at the Euros when she came off injured. And they had a bit of a crisis of fullbacks in the summer. No Levels. Oh no, sorry, no Sarai Linda. No Gilia Gwyn either. Picked up an ACL injury. Or some form of knee injury. I think it wasn't quite as severe. Here is Renard. Into Terciane. Ball down the line. Doesn't amount to anything. Johannes, welcome to the stream. Says Vålerenga winning 1-0 was quite surprising. Tense and well played. Not a festival of goals, though. No, indeed. It was a tight affair. I thought Vålerenga were excellent, but I think the low-scoring nature of it speaks more about Roma's lack of threat more than it spoke about Vålerenga. But I did think Vålerenga did really well to make that a difficult game for them. Ball poked through the lines well but Dijkstra cutting it out, and now here come OL Lyonnes. Terciane has the wider option of Diani, uses her now. Wants to come inside, lovely footwork from Diani into Terciane in the box, and that pass was slightly behind her and she just couldn't quite keep it under her control. Poked out by Zikai, and that will be a Lyon corner. And so what can they do from this set piece? Can they put Wolfsburg under the cosh early on in this game? An early goal would do a lot to settle the jitters for OL Lyonnes, who have been the side in control for most of the first 8 minutes here. Here is Dumornay. Wants to take on Levels. Does well. Ball in towards the front post, though. Is an easy claim for Johannes in the Wolfsburg net. But yeah, don't mind this from Dumornay. Just trying to see if she can get a flick on at the front post. Didn't quite emerge, but the idea wasn't bad. Levels. Kuva. Back now to Johannes. And she'll drill a pass forwards. One back initially by OL Lyonnes, but Heaps couldn't quite keep that under her control. So back now with Wolfsburg. Here is Minger. Into Kuva, who will lift it in behind. Fairly ambitious pass that, and Lynette Beerdenstein doesn't believe in it. Tarciani. Now Renard. Engen. Back to Renard. OL Lyonnes slow it down, while the two fullbacks swap back into their rightful positions. Brand. Engen. Into Batcher. Goes up the line into Hegerberg, who bounces it back to Brand. Nice move from OL Lyonnes. Brand now tries to feed it through the lines. An ambitious pass. It doesn't quite come off. Ball, though, into Heaps now in the penalty area. Back to Dumornay. Heaps keeps it, though, and that was the wrong decision. Should have left that to Melchi Dumornay, who was in a great position to get a shot away. And a throw in now for OL Lyonnes. Batcher. Back now to Engen. Tarciani on this right-hand side. Tried to play the pass inside, cut out by Zikai. Back now to Renard. Yeah, so such good passing in the tight spaces. Yeah, there already seems, I mean, obviously this Lyon side have been together for a while, but I think even the new signings, and there were plentiful new signings to this squad, even they have adapted quite quickly to the setup. The likes of Hulabrand, Corbin, Schrader, the likes of Katoto. Here is Diani Engen as well, another starter who was brought in the summer. Lydia Johannes, another option as well. Brands looks to play it in behind for Hegerberg, who battles well, gets the right side of the fullback, takes aim, and it's saved well by Johannes, but Dijkstra was bullied there by Ada Hegerberg. And Hegerberg, well, you'd usually back her to score from that sort of position. Just a little too wide of the goal, to be fair. And Johannes does well to get down to it. And a goal in one of the other games this evening as SK St Paulton 0, Chelsea 1 as the Blues take the lead in that game. And while they've had all of the possession in the opening 12 minutes there, 78% of the ball, 4 shots, 2 on target, and now they have the lead. And it's Vika Kaptein, a player who has missed quite a few big chances for Chelsea in recent weeks, but she comes up with the goods in the opening stages of that game. Batcher breaking down the left-hand side. Wolfsburg can't handle the aggressive running of Selma Batcher. Well dealt with, though. And Batcher's deemed to have rounded off the pitch, much to her frustration, as she discovers that referee's decision. I have to say, I somewhat agree with that. I'd have to see a replay. It looked like Linda came across. She definitely made contact with the ball, Linda. It's whether she then hit it back into Batcher, but I'm not sure if Batcher did touch it again. Goraldez, though, 12 minutes in, already making notes. I love the fact he's got a pen and pad in his hand. Something to be said for the more traditional way of doing things. Dumornay unable to keep that under her control. And that's with Engen. Heaps. Out to Batcher. Now Engen. Out to Tarchiane. Ball down the line, looking for Ada Hegerberg. Wants to shot back inside. Really good defending though from Janina Minga to deal with that. And Kuva gets it clear, only as far as Diani though. A high turnover for Lyon. Ball across the blocks, blocked by Minga. And there was a slight call there, albeit a hesitant call for a handball. Not sure if there was much in that at all. But Kuva will be very fortunate there, not for that mistake not to be punished by Kadadia Diani. And so a corner out for OL Lyonnes. Alex says captain goal from Carpenter Davis as Chelsea 1-0 as well. Yes, thank you for the updates, guys. If there are goals in other Champions League games, let me know in the live chat. We'll stay across all of the Champions League action this evening. OL Lyonnes, they take the corner short. Dumonet lays it to the edge. Heaps though. Can't quite find Schrader with the pass. Here is Batcher. Ball forwards and that headed on, perhaps unnecessarily, by Janina Minga. And that is out for another OL Lyonnes corner. And of course, if you are enjoying tonight's show and you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you're enjoying it and you've already subscribed, then feel free to share the stream with anyone you think would enjoy it. Corner out for OL Lyonnes. And there'll be a stoppage here to discuss pushing in the box. Johanna says, I can't take Schrader seriously. Whenever her name comes up, my brain goes to Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad. I never thought about that. But now that's all I'm going to think about, Johannes. Thank you. Here is Melchi Dumornay. Ball lifted into the area. Headed wide of the mark. And that will be a Wolfsburg goal kick. But yeah, I always struggle with the names with players who've changed their surname. Because, I mean, you've got like Lynn Biandolo. And I mean, even in Lyon, you've also got Lindsay Heaps. It tends to be all the Americans that do it as well. It seems to be a theme. But yeah, I get lost when they change their surname. Ball forwards. I remember as well when I looked on the OL Lyonnes website over the summer, and I thought that Wendy Renard had changed her surname because Google had auto-translated her surname into English. So I thought she was Wendy Fox for a moment before I realised the mistake. Anyway, Lyon building out from the back. Engen. Batcher. Here is Brand. Back to Batcher. Engen. Now Renard. Out to the right-hand side. Diani knocks it down the line, looking for Melchi Dumornay, and she'll touch it past Kuva. And Dumornay now breaking into the box. Strong challenge from Kuva on the edge of the area, and that is out for a Lyon corner. Great move from Dumornay. Brilliant tackle from Kuva. She thinks that's come off Dumornay last. I think making that argument almost makes it look like a foul, though. So I'd happily take the corner and not moan about it personally. And it will be a Lyon corner. David says, important keeper really under the pump. That is what I like to hear. And that is what you would expect to hear when Chelsea head to Polton. Ball in from Batcher, and the referee had blown a whistle. Because once again, we need to stop the game of football to talk to players about pushing. I don't know why we do this. Every time we stop the game and we explain to the players that are pushing, don't push. If the players push, give the foul. If a Lyon player pushes, blow up and it's a free kick. If a Wolfsburg player pushes down a Lyon player, it's a penalty. Shouldn't have to explain it every time. Batcher into the near post, and that's headed away well. Now Dumornay slots it into Heaps. Back to Melchi Dumornay. Does well there to get around Dijkstra. And the ball into the box, though, is cleared away well by Kuva. Only as far as Selma Batcher now, who swings it back into the area. That's blocked. Tarchiane tries to turn it goalwards. And now Schrader from the edge hits the bar. It drops back into danger. Renard heads it back into the box. Cleared away. Dumornay tries to keep it alive. Zikai trying to break away now, though, as OL Lyonnes forced backwards. Absolutely hate, by the way, the camera angle in the Groupama Stadium this evening. Diani breaking into the area. Can she pick out a teammate? Lifts it in the box. Tarchiane knocks it down. Chance now. Wide of the mark. And Tarchiane looking for her first Champions League goal. Unable to find the target. And yeah, Schrader, another chance missed. Hitting the crossbar with this one. Somewhat more unlucky on that one than she has been with the others that she's put over. But still, 3 big opportunities missed from Corbin Schrader already in this match. But a positive start for OL Lyonnes. They've had everything their own way so far. Wolfsburg building out from the back, looking to change that fact. Well, it's not going to happen like that. Leval's pass not staying in touch. Johannes says the most confusing name change was Dominic Janssen, who changed her name when she married and then back again after they split up. Yeah, that does sound confusing, to be fair. Here is Selma Batcher. Batcher down the line, looking for Ulebrand. Minger. And now sent forward by Johannes, and that's out for an OL Lyonnes throw. Ball forwards. Here is Heaps, who fights away for possession. Wow, now breaking down the left-hand side. It's deemed to have gone out. Or actually, no, it's been deemed a free kick. Pettimore's there. Too aggressive in our attempts to win back the ball. So Lyon now with another chance to put the ball into the area. And we've already seen Wolfsburg struggle to deal with these. Put under the pressure from these set plays. What can OL Lyonnes do from this? Now, well, it will be Selma Batcher to take. Batcher over this. Drills it low into Heaps. Now Batcher. Trade around the corner looking for Diani. And it's knocked out of play well, and that will be now an OL Lyonnes corner. As they continue to push for the opening goal in this game. It's worth noting that Wolfsburg have done well to keep the deadlock intact, but they haven't even had an attempt at scoring in this game. It's been all one-way traffic so far, and Lyon seem intent on keeping it that way. Batcher, ball in, headed towards goal, tipped over brilliantly by Johannes, and it's not often you deny Wendy Renard when she's heading it at your goal. But Johannes does really well with that one, tipping it over the bar. And Wolfsburg continue to be under the cosh, but they keep the deadlock intact. Lyon with another corner. This time an in-swing up from Batcher, so they fill the 6-yard box. Batcher flicked on in there, and it's not come to anything. Wolfsburg, though, not dealt with it fully, and it drops to Dumornay. Tries to feed the ball through. Kuva does well. Now Zikai. And that's a fairly aimless pass out to the right-hand side. It's back in the possession of OL Lyonnes. I mean, this has been an absolutely dominant display so far. 75% possession. Wolfsburg yet to take a shot. Yet to take a touch in the opposition box. And only 3 passes in the opposition half. Dumornay, now Heaps, blocked well by Janina Minger. Just not sure how much longer Wolfsburg can sustain this level of pressure, this volume of chances for OL Lyonnes. Surely at some point, it's got to come to a head. Ball forwards. Batcher can't quite keep that in touch though. And Wolfsburg now with the throw-in on the far side. Pop. Trying to get something going. One back though by OL Lyonnes. Batcher now to Tacciani. Back to Engen. Batcher. Heaps. Nice combination as they move the ball backwards. Trying to draw Wolfsburg out. Renard. Now Lindsay Heaps. Options ahead of her. Gives it to Brand, who tries to turn. That was a little too casual from Eula Brand. Zikai nowhere to go. One back here by Wolfsburg. Tacciani drives through the heart of the Wolfsburg team and then goes down, and that is not a foul. She's very fortunate to get that one. She ran herself into trouble. And yeah, just went down when she ran out of room. That's a very harsh free kick, considering I don't think Wolfsburg did anything wrong there. But a free kick down the edge of the box for OL Lyonnes. And a chance for them to put Wolfsburg under yet more pressure. And they've got players who can threaten from this sort of range. What will they do with this one? Well, it's Batcher and it's Heaps over this. Quite a distance, to be fair. Heaps steps up, takes it, and that is an excellent free kick, and it's poked home by Hegerberg. OL Lyonnes 1, Wolfsburg 0 in this game. And Ada Hegerberg was there to follow up the rebound. A well-struck free kick. And Heaps was unlucky not to score. But Ada Hegerberg was on hand to finish the job. OL Lyonnes 1, Wolfsburg 0. Such a well-struck free kick from Lindsay Heaps. Her effort off the crossbar. It then bounces back down and hits Johannes on the back. It drops on the goal line. And Ada Hegerberg, the instincts of a predator, is there to poke it home. Latches on the loose ball. And pokes it into the back of the net. OL Lyonnes 1, Wolfsburg 0. And that is a good start for Wolfsburg. Rewarded for what has been a dominant display thus far. As they've really taken control here against the She-Wolves. Ball forwards. Tacciani, a little nervy, trying to deal with that pass. As Wolfsburg finally get out of their own half for the first time in the last about 20 minutes, I think. And they have now got a throw-in on this near side. So they look to, well, try and actually get involved in this football match. Here is Kuva. Now Minger. Across to Dijkstra. Minger. Can they get back into Lyon's half at least? Kuva. Forward pass incomplete. And Lyon will come forwards now. Dumornay, loose touch, does really well to keep it tight. Out to the right-hand side. Diani now looking to put the ball into the box. Delay, swings it in there. And that's missed by everyone. Falls for Dumornay, who lashes it. And that's over the bar. And it's been all OL Lyonnes. And almost there, a second goal to the tally. Wolfsburg undone. Dumornay, the orchestrator, and almost adding the finishing touch as well. Jorge says, Wolfsburg, awful. United going to win this game. United aren't playing tonight, Jorge. Anyway, building on the left-hand side. Kuva, Lavels. We're going to go down the left-hand side now. Goes back to Minger. Kuva. Now Johannes. Dijkstra. And here is Yanina Minger splitting the centre halves once again. Wants to go a little more direct now into Lavels, who just misjudged that. And here comes Tacciani driving the ball forwards for OL Lyonnes. One back by Lavels, and that's deemed a foul again. That one probably a little more correct than the earlier one on Tacciani that led to that goal. I mean, that's still very soft. Tacciani is looking over the ref before she's even gone down. Wolfsburg just need someone to pick this up tonight because it's flat. It's a very flat performance. OL Lyonnes, 12 shots in the opening 28 minutes. 4 on target, 2 big chances as well. Wolfsburg just too lethargic, too slow. Hegerberg, Batcher. Bit of a weird free kick routine, and Wolfsburg now can break away, but OL Lyonnes get away with it. That's deemed a foul in there. Davis says Wolfsburg's not that bad, Lyon's just too good. So many pacey attackers. Yeah, it's the dynamism, it is the understanding between the players, the way they move the ball, the way they combine with one another. It's very difficult to keep up with. And now OL Lyonnes with another set piece, and we've already seen them score from one of these. Can they add a second set piece goal to their tally this evening? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Dumonet and Batcher over this. It'll be Batcher to lay it into the box. Headed on, and it's headed home. And it's Ada Hegerberg with a second goal of the night. OL Lyonnes 2, Wolfsburg 0. Nodded on wonderfully there by Ada Hegerberg. And it's just too easy for OL Lyonnes. They move the ball from back to front so well. They get the set piece there. And they capitalise fully. Brilliant ball from Selma Batcher. There will be an offside call. That looks really tight to me. But actually, no, I was looking at the wrong player. Brilliant. Yeah, Schrader's gone too early. I don't think she has any impact on the play. Hegerberg, really good header. Past the stricken Johannes. And as David Fraser says in the live chat, this is getting ugly. Dominant display thus far from OL Lyonnes. A double for Ada Hegerberg. And Wolfsburg now with a large margin to make up. Engen heads it to Dumonet. Now it's with Heaps out to the left-hand side. Eula Brand holds it up well. Now Batcher. And now here is Renard. Looks to go in behind for Diani. Will find Diani, but Diani's touch is too heavy, and that takes it off for Wolfsburg goal kick, and this will offer them a bit of respite. And as Lyon double their advantage, as do Chelsea. SK St Paulton 0, Chelsea 2. And according to David, that is Naomi Germer with the second goal in that game. You'd assume from a corner then. Either that or a screamer. Either way, we're here for it. But yes, Naomi Germer with, I believe, her first Chelsea goal, if I'm not mistaken. As they double their advantage. Richie CFC, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the £1.99 donation. It says Chelsea win 1-0 cap time. Yes, Chelsea are leading by, well, were leading by a goal to nil. It's now 2 goals to 0. But thank you so much for the donation. All your donations massively support us. It's the best way to support us. It's obviously not mandated, but we appreciate it massively. Subscribing, just as helpful. And supporting the channel by watching the streams as well. But yeah, thank you so much for the donation, Richie. Tacciani down the line into Diani. Lovely footwork from Kaladia Tau Diani there, but nowhere to go as she's dragged back. And that goal has been disallowed for Chelsea. Sam Kerr sets up Naomi Germer, but that has been disallowed apparently. David says St Paulton has been locked in their third. Ryan says, love going, but she knew nothing about that goal by the end. Has it stood? I've got no idea. Football Office has said it's disallowed and then that she scored again. So I've got no idea what's happening in that game. If anyone's watching it, let me know. Batcher into the penalty area, headed away well by Sarai Linda. And now here is Eula Brand. Into the box, headed on by Heaps. And that is into the gloves of Johannes. Dave says Gomez scored again. Was it 3-0 now? Or was that... I have no idea. We'll find out at some point this evening. But yeah. All kicking off in that other game. Still nothing in Real Madrid, Paris FC. And while here at the Groupama Stadium in Lyon, it's been all one-way traffic. Wolfsburg unable to put up any form of defence against a constant onslaught of pressure. Johannes says, I have to say the OL kit looks so good this season. If only they still had the real badge rather than the weird dollar store thing they've got now. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think even down to the sponsor. The sponsors make or break a kit. It can be a lovely design, but if you've slapped the Angry Birds logo on the middle of it, it's not going to be a great kit. But MasterCard, it just suits it so well. Or Visa. I don't know what that logo is actually, but it's either way, it suits it well. But yeah, it is a shame they changed the badge and the name. Ryan says, Kermer's goal was disallowed because Kerr was offside. Okay. Thank you for letting me know, Ryzen. Share no goal for Naomi Germer. That is a shame. Chelsea remain then 1 goal in front. Batcher. Ball in behind. Look at the run of Eula Brand. And that's clipped out of play well by Sarai Linda. But yeah, a lot of action. I didn't think it would be so one-sided in this game, if I'm honest. I thought Wolfsburg may put up a better fight than they have, but it has just been a constant onslaught. I mean, not even to the point where Lyon have just had more chances. Wolfsburg have actually not had a kick. They can't get out of their own half. They've not even got anywhere near having a shot. I have to say, if OL Lyonnes keep playing like this, they've got to be considered favourites for the Champions League. And I said at the start of the season, with Jonathan Grades coming in, you'd expect nothing less. Tarciane does well to send that forwards. Here is Janina Minga. Back now to Johannes. That's a great pass into Lavels. Diani back to Heaps. Now Tarciane. Ball into the box. Minga gets it to Lavels. Now Tarciane, who goes down. Tarciane is brilliant at winning fouls. I never thought she'd be that sort of player. You know, you look at her as this big physical presence, and she's normally a centre-half, but she is great at just throwing herself on the floor and getting a free kick for it. Third one tonight now, where she has deceived the officials. Lavels has been incredibly unlucky. Especially when both the other times has led to a goal. Will this one have the same outcome? Well, it is Douane and Batcher over it once again. And so, what can OL Lyonnes do with this one? Will we do an A or will it be Batcher to deliver? It will be Selma Batcher. That's a good delivery to the back post. Head away well, though, by Dijkstra. Brand now works hard to get the ball. Holds it well. Nice footwork, just trying to fashion the cross. Corbin Schrader. Now Dumornay. Batcher. Nowhere to go, really, for Selma Batcher. This is good pressure from Lavels, forcing her backwards. Engen. Batcher. Back into the box. It's going to bounce all the way through. And Heaps tries to keep it in touch, but to no avail. Ryan says Case will be very happy by the summer. You reckon you expecting Lyon to win the Champions League then? In fact, yeah, while we're here, get involved in the live chat. Who's winning the Champions League? What is everyone's prediction for that? Let me know. If anyone says Arsenal, they're getting banned. That is a joke. But yeah, Lyon now trying to send the ball forwards out for a Wolfsburg throw. But yeah, get involved. Let me know who you think will win the Champions League. So, OL Lyonnes, there's an offside in there, and that offers Wolfsburg some respite. And so now, Wolfsburg will build out from the back. Minger. Now it's with Dijkstra. Great hold up from Beerenstein. David says, Lyon, fair enough. Ryan says, not necessarily, but I feel like she's going to be happy with how OL and LCL are doing at this rate. Yeah, I mean, of course. I think, should we look at the fact that she's got the best team in France by a country mile. She's got a London City Lionesses team who are probably best of the rest right now. I think they win over Tottenham almost seals that. Again, though, I don't think they play incredibly fun football or good football, but they've got incredible players. And that does make the difference sometimes. But yeah, no, I think she'll definitely be happy with where they're at. And doesn't she own the spirit as well? And they are semi-finalists in the NWSL playoffs. That coming up this weekend. Yeah, it's this weekend. Yeah, Hannah says, my heart says Bayern, but my brain says either Chelsea or Lyon. Yeah, I mean, I hope Chelsea are in that conversation. I think they very much can be. I think the way that they're setting up this season is to be more defensive. To be able to handle the likes of OL Lyonnes, be able to handle Barcelona and all their attacking talents. But, I mean, we'll see how it pans out. Dumonet. Now Heaps out to the left-hand side. Here's Batcher. Chelsea Barcelona will be an interesting test next week. Unfortunately, we're not live for that. And we're not at the game. Batcher. Ball across the box, looking for Hegerberg. Good goal getting from Johannes. And good recovery from Minger to take that away from Dumonet. Jackie D, welcome to the stream. Paris FC lead Real Madrid. They do indeed. Lorena Azaro with the penalty in that game. But it has been against the run of play. Real Madrid with more of the possession. 8 shots as well to 3. And that penalty is Paris FC's first shot on target. Both sides, they're missing big chances. So, been a bit of a crazy game there. But, yeah, it's good stuff for Paris FC, and that would be a huge 3 points. But they'll be looking back at that OH Leuven result with such frustration because they'd be in a really good position right now to qualify if they hadn't drawn to a pot 3 team. And yet, there they go. Stupid result in the opening match week could cost them. Ryan says the worst of all worlds, no stream and no game. Well, we've got a great world to be at because we are at the Football Content Awards. So as much as I'm gutted it's on the same night as what would be a live stream, I can't really complain. Looking forward to that next Thursday. Don't know if we're going to win anything. I don't expect to win anything, but maybe we will. You never know. Maybe all you guys, all your support, everyone who voted will have got us that award. But we were up against some huge creators, so we'll wait and see. I'm just looking forward to the event. It's going to be great to meet people in the space. Batcher lifts it in behind, looking for Hegerberg. Great hold up from Ada Hegerberg. Plays it back now to Selma Batcher, who swings it into the box now, looking for Dumournet, who pokes it goalwards. Doesn't quite come off. Diani now fires wide. And OL Lyonnes again putting Wolfsburg under the cosh, but unable to find the back of the net. Johanna says Barcelona's mini squad will cost them their almost guaranteed ticket to the final, if you ask me. We're already starting to see cracks emerge in that Barcelona squad, and I know Barcelona fans don't want to talk about it. But to be fair, I don't think many Barcelona fans watch our streams anymore. They aren't particularly fond of me. But I think you're already starting to see those cracks appear. Salma Paralluelo isn't a key player for me, but she is out injured, and that gives them less rotation. Payor has already missed a segment of the season. I think it won't be long until we see another major injury, because you can't keep playing the same players. I mean, it helps in the league that they can play just like random youth players and stuff like that, and they'll still win 8-0. Like Marta Torreon. And this is why I find it weird when people try and compare the leagues. Oh, sorry, Lynette Beerenstein's in here for Wolfsburg. Can she make something happen? Bearing in on goal, and she strikes the near post, and that's super unlucky for Wolfsburg. First real chance, and Beerenstein's unlucky not to score. Kierland on the edge, trying to make something happen. Pedamors, now Minger. Kuva, out wide to Levels. Puts it in the box, and that's cleared away into the referee, and that will be a Lyon drop ball. Also, best chance of the night there, though. Beerenstein not far away from finding a goal to get them back in this match. Also, I think Bayern doesn't have enough competition in the Frauen Bundesliga, which is essential for a UWCL win. Yeah, I think you need to find a balance, though, because I'd argue it's the opposite. I think Bundesliga is too competitive. Whereas you look at the reason Arsenal were able to compete is because they weren't in the WSL title fight. So they rested up in like the weeks before the Champions League. That is why Barcelona are able to be so dominant in the Champions League, because they rest up constantly. Second goal in the Chelsea game. Thank you, David Fraser, for letting us know. Kat Macario with that one set up by Joanna Ritten-Carneraid. And it's the same it's the same for OL Lyonnes as well. It massively helps that domestically, I mean, you look at the side they played at the weekend, it's completely different to the side that plays tonight. And that's a kind of rest you don't get in the WSL. I mean, Chelsea had to play Arsenal at the weekend, and that will invariably impact Arsenal's game tomorrow. Cat Antlers, welcome to the stream. Says OL has some beautiful passing and movement forward. Corbin Trader stands around a lot and just watches. Do you predict LYONNES will see minutes? They're up. Yeah, that is half time. By the way, in this game, no allotted additional time. I think that says it all. Not a lot. The ball hasn't really been out of play. It's just been in Lyon's possession. To answer that, though, a brace, by the way, from Ada Hegerberg brings them in the lead at the half. To what you're saying, Cantlers, I think we will see more minutes for Lily Johannes. I don't think Corbin Trader was a great signing. I think she's done a lot better than I expected her to do, because I don't think she's a top player for me, Corbin Trader, but she does the job. I think Lily Johannes will replace her by next season, I would say. I think despite her age, she's already a top talent. And I think we're seeing more and more young players come in and just start because they have had increased level of youth coaching, so they're already at a higher level. They have increased sort of physical profile, so they are fitter, they are stronger, they are faster. You know, look at how players are coming into the WSL at 18, at 19, and they look excellent. Look at how Barcelona are bringing through these young players, and they just fit in immediately. I mean, like, Sydney Schertenlein didn't even have like top level coaching. She was just playing for a side in Switzerland, and Barcelona scouted her via Instagram, and now she's coming in and she looks good in the Liga F. So yeah, I think it's one of those, we're seeing these young players come through. I think Lily Johannes is a top talent. I think OL Lyonnes have to recognise that. And yeah, I would expect that by the end of the season or by the start of next season, Johannes will be a starting player. I also don't think Lindsay Heaps, I think Lindsay Heaps' days are numbered to an extent. She's already 31. I wouldn't be surprised at the end of this season she was looking at a move back to the NWSL, because that would be a huge payday. Every club in the NWSL would want Lindsay Heaps, I would assume, because that is a top player, a huge sort of marquee signing, a marquee American signing. The NWSL would love that. So I wouldn't be surprised if she returned and yeah, Johannes got more minutes. David says, Pawson Bolton can't get out of their half, can't string more than 2 passes together before getting dispossessed. Well, it's sort of been the same story here at the Groupama Stadium. Lyon have had all of the ball. 69% possession in that first half. 14 shots to 1. 5 shots on target to 0. 2 big chances to 0. and one missed, one scored for OL Lyonnes. Really impressive first 45 minutes. Ada Hegerberg at the double. The Norwegian veteran still going at 30, still firing in goals on the regular basis. And yeah, still such a hugely important part of this OL Lyonnes side. And the fact they're able to rest Katoto tonight and they've got no worry about where those goals come from shows exactly the quality that Ada Hegerberg still provides. And yeah, brilliant brace for Hegerberg. Reacted really well to that Heaps free kick. Rushed towards the ball and managed to poke it in. And it's a really good header. It's a header that no other player comes up with, really, outside of your elite players, your Khadija Shaws, your Sam Kerrs, those sort of elite headers of a football. Ada Hegerberg's right up there as well, of course, and a fantastic header, and that's why they lead 2-0, but they have had complete dominance, and not just dominance, but territorial dominance. They've been in Wolfsburg's half for most of the game. If you look at some of the passing statistics, 108 passes in their own half, 123 in the opposition half, more passes in the Wolfsburg half than in their own. As for Wolfsburg, was 77 in their own half, only 13 passes completed in the Lyon half. It has been a really tough first 45 minutes to watch from a Wolfsburg perspective. They just haven't got out one touch in the opposition box to 24. Absurd, absolutely absurd from OL Lyonnes. Dominated this game, absolutely. They haven't had to make a block. The keeper hasn't done anything. I mean, Christian Endler could get a deck chair out at this point. It's been a very easy first half. Wolfsburg did threaten right at the end of that first 45 minutes with Annette Berenstein breaking in behind. She crashed her effort against the front post. And that was their only shot of the first half. But it was a great opportunity and it wasn't far from going in. So they've got to bear that in mind, OL Lyonnes, that they did get caught out in transition there. But other than that, it has been such a compellingly dominant first 45 minutes that I'm sure they will, they'll keep up. David says, I haven't seen Australia playing today. Thought she was good in other Champions League game. Yeah, I mean, she's been fine today. She's missed a lot of chances, but she's getting in the right positions, which I think is an important thing. And yeah, I think she's done okay, but I don't think she's at that. I don't think she's at that elite level. I think there are much better players out there, which makes it a bit of a weird signing for me. But again, we know how much how OL Lyonnes love to recruit from PSG because it just makes their life in the league even easier. I mean, they took away Albert and they took away Katoto. Completely blanked on that. Just this season, they took away Diani a few seasons ago as well. So they just keep doing that, and then PSG use that money to buy Mary Earps. So yeah, it's they're just absolutely dominant in their domestic division, aren't they? OL Lyonnes. And that's why they take all the best players from that PSG side and no one else has the money to compete. Oscar says it's important at doing what they're able to do. They qualify for the group stage, league phase each UWCL season, but knockout phase is a hurdle too much for them. I think that's an important thing, though, is getting to this stage of the competition because the financial incentive in terms of just getting to the group stage will get them so much money into the Austrian league and then theoretically, what we'll hopefully see is that they then buy players from the lower teams and then that wealth goes throughout the league. What we actually tend to see, though, as we've seen in the men's game, is that money doesn't really make its way down the league, and instead all the Champions League does is sort of increase the inequality in those weaker divisions because you get the teams at the top who get to play in the Champions League, and then what they do is they get loads of money and then they are better than everyone else in their league, and then that keeps them going into, they keep getting into the Champions League because they're the best team in the league, and then they get loads and loads of money, and it just keeps on that cycle. It's why we're seeing in the men's game there's loads of like Eastern European leagues, some of those smaller leagues in Europe where there is so much money at one club and the rest of them just cannot compete. Hopefully we don't see that in the women's game. I think we're already seeing it at the elite level, to be fair. But I think it will balance out as more investment comes. I mean, you look at the WSL now, Manchester City leading the way. I think we're going to continue to see that as a title fight. The problem is unless PSG get their recruitment right, you're never going to see someone knock OL Lyonnes off their perch. Unless Real Madrid and Atleti start taking women's football seriously and invest a lot more money, you're never going to see Barcelona knocked off their perch. So that is the problem. For me, the Bundesliga's already got loads of competition, which is great. I think it makes it such a good league to watch. It's why, for me, it's my second favourite European league behind the WSL, because I just wouldn't want to watch a Liga F game that isn't Barcelona Real Madrid. I just think that it's so pointless the way that Barcelona dominate. And yeah, to the same extent, I wouldn't want to watch a Ligue 1 game or a Premier League game, between anyone other than I guess PSG, Lyon, but also Paris FC, OL Lyonnes. So it's just I prefer leagues that are super competitive, and I don't think you get that in some of the top European leagues right now. But yeah, Beerenstein with the best chance last half for Wolfsburg, almost found the back of the net, but it has been absolutely dominant from OL Lyonnes. They just look fitter, they look fresher than Wolfsburg. They have been absolutely dominant, and yeah, been really impressed. Johannes on Schrader says she's a squad player. I think almost all clubs are running squads that are too small to save on costs despite more and more games. All the big injuries point in this direction for me. Is that on Schrader, or is that sort of talking about something else? Sorry, Johannes, I'm a little bit lost there. But I think Lyon have done it right. You know, we spoke about how they brought in loads of players in the summer and they didn't lose too many. I know they did. You know, Vanessa Gilles not there anymore. They lost Eugene Leselmer, I think, has left. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. And they brought in like 7 players and they didn't really lose much. But they've got 2 teams now. And they've got one team that is good enough that can compete at the top level. And they've got one team that is good enough to beat most opponents in the Premier League. And that will beat the weaker opponents in the Champions League, as we've already seen this season. So, yeah, I mean, they've done really well to build that sort of squad. It's what Chelsea are trying to do. I think Chelsea have done it to a very good extent. That's why they're very good in the WSL. I think it's the detriment of clubs like Arsenal, clubs like Manchester City, Manchester United, that they are 1 or 2 injuries away from just everything falling apart. Like United right now, if Laetitia gets injured, they're done. Arsenal right now, Leah Williamson gets injured, and they have struggled massively defensively this season. And it's similar if someone like Cowden Tay gets injured, they probably massively struggle to create chances, progress the ball, that sort of stuff. So, yeah. And yeah, City, likewise, we see when Shaw's out injured, they can't score a goal. That's definitely changing. I think City are improving their depth, but they're still really weak. And again, if Hasegawa was to ever get injured, it all falls apart. Triple G, one of the screen says, do you think Wolfsburg will score, guys? Not on the basis of the first 45. On the basis that we know how good Wolfsburg can be, potentially. And the way that Beerenstein did threaten with that one chance, I wouldn't be surprised if they did nick a goal. But I don't think they will at this stage. I think they've just been so out of it. I mean, something's got to change second half, you'd think. You've got to think Wolfsburg will do something. But, yeah. Oscar says, I agree with Frauen Bundesliga being interesting. The She-Wolves lost to Frankfurt last weekend. Should be a wake-up call. Well, exactly. And that's the thing that you don't get in the Liga F or the Premier League. And even when you do get, like Barcelona lost last weekend, or the weekend before last, they won 8-0 last weekend. But Barcelona lost the weekend before last, and no one cares because they're 4 points clear in the league. They've lost a game, and it's like, oh well, they're 4 points clear still. They were 7 points clear before that. So, yeah, it's one of those where it's such a pointless league that it just does. I just don't see the enjoyment behind watching and following the Liga F when there's absolutely no chance. Whereas you look at the Frauen Bundesliga, the WSL, it does feel that, well, bar a couple teams right at the bottom, anyone could beat anyone. And we've seen that proven in the WSL this season. Chelsea have dropped points now on 2 occasions. They dropped points last season, not to any of the big sides, but to some of the smaller sides in the league. And then, we've already seen Manchester United lose to Aston Villa. We've seen Arsenal draw with Villa. And who else they dropped points to? Arsenal, I think just the big sides, right? They haven't had a major mess up apart from that. But yeah, super competitive. That's what I like about. That's what I want from a domestic league. I want it to be a situation where anyone can beat anyone. And yeah, it does make the NWSL interesting. I did see someone talking about the NWSL because they've got obviously their playoffs coming up, and a lot of Europeans going, I don't like playoff systems. I don't like playoff systems myself, but I found it interesting that the argument from American fans was, well, it makes it more interesting. But the 4 teams in contention for this year's playoffs are the last 4 winners. So I think it's interesting that anyone can win it, but I don't like playoff systems at the end of the season. I think differentiating between the cup competitions and the league is important. Also, don't like no relegation. I think that's just pointless. Because where's the encouragement to actually invest or want to get better? But obviously they do have a slightly different system out there. Do they still do drafts? I assume they do. I'm not 100% on that, but they should do. That is the only thing they've got going for them. I do enjoy the drafts in American sports. But yeah. Anyway, let's take a bit of a tangent. Anything else to touch on before the second half gets underway? Should only be the next minute, because we had no stoppage time in that first 45 minutes. There was so little that happened. It was just OL Lyonnes on the ball, creating chances and dominating. Will that change in the second half? Or we'll wait and find out. It's a little bit too early on removing the half-time there from the screen, but we'll be underway shortly. Have Wolfsburg got changes ready? You'd have to hope so. Someone like a Kessia Bussi just to come on and change this game a little bit. Give them someone that will drive the ball forward, someone that will get out of their own half. Cantless says no more drafts, a recent change. Well, surely, right, if there's no more drafts, then surely they bring in relegation, right? Cantless? Surely that's what happens next. Because then there's motivation to invest. There it says 8th beat 1st in NWSL playoff. But exactly, why does the team in 8th get that opportunity? Because, I think maybe playoffs will be fine if it's just the top 2. But even then, I'd rather just see the win. The best team over the season deserves to win the league, in my opinion. And then you have the separate you have a cup competition and a European competition. For me, that's the perfect setup. And you can also have a third cup competition or second cup competition if you want. But even, I wouldn't be surprised if the women's game got rid of the Subway League Cup in the not too distant future. I think with the schedule and the calendar expanding with more Champions League games this season, and that will probably continue. I think they'll continue to expand that. WSL games going up by another 4 next season, every campaign. I just don't know where you're going to fit in. I mean, there are loads of weeks we can have. I mean, at the moment we have like 2-week international breaks, which I think that would be great that they're going. But I'd rather see more WSL games and no League Cup. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, back to get underway. Back underway in this game. OL Lyonnes leading by 2-0 as Wolfsburg try and get their way back into this game, albeit their chances seem rather slim after what was a dominant, completely and utterly dominant first half from OL Lyonnes. Can Lyonnes kick on or can Wolfsburg kick back? Let's find out. We're back underway. It's OL Lyonnes who get us back underway here at the Groupama Stadium, leading by 2-0. That brace from Ada Hegerberg in the 25th and 30th minute. So can Lyonnes add more to this route? We'll find out. Here is Tatiana, looks to go over the top of the Wolfsburg defence. Schrader can't quite keep that under her control, and Dijkstra knocks it out, but that will be a Lyon corner. Rimbalas, what's the Madrid score? It's 1-0 Paris FC. The visitors there have the advantage. A penalty in the 41st minute, the only differentiating factor in that first half. Worth noting, OL Lyonnes the only home side leading at this stage of the match. Vålerenga won earlier away from home. Paris FC visiting Madrid are leading, and Chelsea away in Polton are also leading. So OL Lyonnes the outliers this evening as the home side on top. Batcher gives it to Engen. Doesn't quite come off there, and it drops now back for Batcher, who thought about striking from range there, thinks better of it. And now trying to get the ball wide, and does so into Melchi Dumornay. Positive touch inside. Wants to take players on here, the Haitian playmaker. Lovely stuff from Dumornay. Ball into the box, and that's headed away well by Wolfsburg. Johannes says the UK's League Cup always feel a bit cheap due to the sponsors as well. Carabao, Subway, I mean, is that all they've got? Yeah. I like them when it was called like the Continental Tires Cup. That was so random, but yeah, no, I do. I think it cheapens it somewhat. I mean, it's not quite as bad as the one in the men's game that League One and League Two play, which is the Papa John's Trophy. Though I do enjoy the fact that it's sponsored by a pizza company. Anyway, free kick here for Lyon. Cora Zikai just catching Kadadiatau Diani. Nothing malicious there, just somewhat clumsy. Cat Antlers says, the NWSL is so different in play and intensity. A true never say die until the whistle league. Definitely the dominant teams all season just suffered injuries. Two biggest players close to playoffs. Yeah, which I think is a bit of a shame. It's like last season, weren't Washington Spirit just brilliant and then they lost in the final? I think that was the case anyway. I think, Geraldes did well and then they lost the final to Orlando, I think. I've watched loads of NWSL. I've watched a bit just to sort of gauge an opinion on it. But I haven't watched loads. I do want to watch more. It's just difficult when it's 1 AM and we already stream twice or 3 times a weekend. But I'd love to stream at some point. If there is demand for it, we will think about it. Tachiane had a play, and that will be a OL Lyonnes throw. So OL Lyonnes looking to build up the right-hand side. Here is Tachiane. The second half only just getting underway between Bolton and Chelsea. Ball forwards from Wolfsburg, fairly aimless. And one back here by OL Lyonnes. Change as well for Chelsea at half-time. By the way, Miami Goma making way is replaced by Fila Berman. Batcher. Now Engen. Pass across to Wendy Renard. And now Tachiane. Plays it into Melchi Dumornay. Lifts it over the top, headed away well, and now drops for Dumornay. You can't quite keep that under her possession. And it's out for a Wolfsburg throw-in. And here comes Melchi Dumornay driving forwards for Lyonnes. I thought there was going to be a foul in there. Eula Brand breaking into the box. Chance now for Dumornay. Strikes and it's blocked well by Dijkstra. But that felt to me like a foul in the build-up from Dumornay. Play was allowed to continue though. And now it is a throw-in that will be stopped to allow a player to get back to their feet. It was Yanina Minga, I think, down. Anyway, throw-in's been taken. It's out for a Wolfsburg throw. But yeah, 40 minutes left in this game then. Still more than enough time for Wolfsburg to turn it around if they're on it, but haven't really been at the races at all this evening. And well, the first 5 minutes of the second half haven't really been any different. It's still been all OL Lyonnes. Pedamors around the corner into Berenstein. And out of play for another Wolfsburg throw. Came off Eula Brand that time. Ball forward cut out by Wendy Renard. And Brand knocks it forward into Hegerberg. Great hold up there from the Norwegian. Quick turnover though, and it's deemed a foul there. Again, that feels soft to me. Have another look. Yeah, Hegerberg goes down under very little contact. Same with a lot of the Tachiane ones, where she's just gone down under the slightest touch. There's some weird double standards from the referee as well, because there was a much worse one from Dumornay, or a very similar one actually, from Dumornay on Minga, and that created a Lyon shot, and that one wasn't given. But yeah, just been a few of those where they've been super soft, and the referee hasn't given them. Heaps. Now Batcher. Yeah, I don't think it is a foul. I don't think the Dumornay one was. Ball into the box. Hegerberg couldn't quite get there. But you want to see consistency. If you're going to give it every time. Throw in now for Wolfsburg. That was a great ball from Eula Brand across the face of goal. And Hegerberg's reactions perhaps not quite what they once were. Not quite meeting that ball. Prime Hegerberg would have made that a hat-trick. But, yeah, just slightly too delayed with the reaction. Batcher. Now Heaps. Renard. Here is Tacciani. And back now to Engen. Batcher. And now Diani. Lovely give and go with Dumornay. Tries to poke it through the lines. Will drop on the edge, though it's dealt with well by Sarai Linda, who gets it clear. Pop there, barreled down by the recovering Eula Brand, and that is an obvious free kick. And a light exchange there between Eula Brand and Alexandra Pop, former teammates, and yellow card as well. Shown to, I assumed, Eula Brand, but the camera's pan to Cora Zikai. That wouldn't make much sense. Unless she's complained about it afterwards. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened there. I don't know if she's complained and been booked, or whether that is just the cameraman strangely deciding to cut to her. Anyway, also putting out from the back. One high, though, by Tacciani. Just too much distance for Wolfsburg between their players. They haven't been able to pass out very effectively, and Tacciani that time was fouled by Alexandra Pop. Yeah, it was Cora Zikai who got booked for that one. Bit bizarre. But there we go. But yeah, Tacciani not really going anywhere. And Alexandra Pop just clipping her there. Must have been a lot of added time, by the way, in the game, in the first half of Paris FC Real Madrid, because they've only just got back underway. So it must have been a lengthy period of additional time in that first half. But yeah. A third goal in the game between Bolton and Chelsea. This game sent Bolton 0, Chelsea 3, and it's a goal courtesy of Kat Macario. Chelsea finding their scoring form this evening. And Macario with her second of the game. And now OL Lyonnes with this free kick and a chance to put the ball into the area. Short to Dumornay from Batcher. Batcher clips it back in the box. Looking for Renard. Headed away though. Here is Eula Brand. Heavy touch. Gets away from her. She wins it back though. Off of Levels, into the box now, back post, Diani can't quite get there, drops for Tacciani, can't quite get there, and Zikai smashes it away. Engen, Heaps, Diani, all over the back there of Levels, and that will be a free kick. So Wolfsburg building out from the back again. But yeah, they've struggled today. They really have struggled. Wolfsburg, they've just not got anything going. That Macario goal was from the spot as well, by the way. I mean, second half, possession was even more dominant for OL Lyonnes. 81% in the first 10 minutes. Ball in behind here, though, from Wolfsburg. Overhit, though, for Beerenstein. And Endler's able to have a sit down and collect the ball calmly. And that was almost a howler of a mistake. But Beerenstein gave up on it. Endler came out to claim it. Slipped over a little, but was able just to sit down and collect the ball. Ball forwards cut out well by Dijkstra. Schrader, Dumornay cuts out well. And it's back now to Johannes. Diani there. Pushes down Levels, and that will be a free kick. But yeah, it's been a few now where also just trying to play out and Leon brought them down just to stop it. It's been a lot more of a feisty second half, a lot more fouls and just catching one another. Launched forwards by Kuva, header one by Heaps. Now Schrader, not a great pass. Diani swamped and loses out. Pop battles away, and there is an advantage play there as Pop's deemed to have made the foul. I thought it may have gone the other way, but it's Lyon on the ball. Renard. Now Engen. Wider still into Batcher. And now Dumonet. Heaps. Batcher. Tries to play the pass forwards. And now it's back to Dijkstra, and they'll play through the lines. Pedermore's into Biedenstein, round the corner, into Kierland. Nice football from Wolfsburg, and they switch the play now. Not like that, though. Not a great pass across, and OL Lyonnes will get away with that. Here is Batcher. Under pressure from Pedermore's. Engen. Forward pass into Heaps. Turns well out of danger. Egerberg into Brand, who's bursting away now. Schrader in support. Slots it in behind for Schrader. She's not going to get there, though. Ahead of Kuva, who knocks that one down the line. Batcher. Now Lindsay Heaps. Back to Renard. Exchange with Tarchiani. Now forward pass into Dumournet. Back to Tarchiani. Dumournet. Tarchiani. Let's that run to Renard. And now here is Selma Batcher. Plays it through, looking for the runner Corbin Schrader, poked behind by Yanina Wenger, who probably didn't need to be that safe with it. It's a great ball from Batcher, right idea. Just couldn't quite pick out the option there. It was Schrader's run into the area. Corner out for OL Lyonnes. Shafiq predicting it will end 2-0. Welcome to the stream, Shafiq. And Melchi Dumournet over this then into the area. Headed on by Renard. Bounces around his Tarchiani. Can't quite turn it goalwards. Schrader. Opens up the body. Takes aim. And that's headed away. Change now coming for Wolfsburg, and that's Sven Jehuth. And it is, let's try to see who the other change is as well. That is Latvine. So Korazikai making way. Bit of an odd decision. I think she's been a bright spark, an otherwise dull Wolfsburg side, but there we go. No, potentially not Korazikai. Or potentially is Korazikai. And they've just got the wrong number. UEFA have nailed that. There we go. Korazikai off, Sven Jehuth on. And then didn't see what the other change was. It was Kierland off for Latvine. Chelsea have scored a fourth. That was then disallowed. Sunday Baltimore caught offside as she set up Kira Walsh. And they've also made changes in that game with Alyssa Thompson making way. And Lexi Potter getting on, that's nice. Wolfsburg coming forwards now. One back well by Diani. Here is Renard lifting it forwards. That foul suffered statistic is hilarious. 11 fouls against Lyon, 6 fouls on Wolfsburg. That's just based on given though, isn't it? There's been so many soft ones for Lyon and so many ones not given the other way, but there we go. Shafiq says, thank you, welcome. Appreciate the courtesy, the manners. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, this has been an interesting game. Lyon have been excellent throughout this match. But if this is your first time watching the live stream, to everyone watching the stream, if you are new, make sure to hit subscribe. We are just 4 subscribers now of 6.4k. As we are creeping along the road to 10,000. And so if you want to help and you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe. And if you want to help and you're already subscribed, then feel free to share the stream. Send it around to anyone you know that loves the women's game, would love to get involved. Share the channel as well. And yeah, help us grow. Here come OL Lyonnes. Ball in behind. Looking out for Eula Brand. Options across if she can pick them out. Good ball to Ada Hegerberg, who should score. And puts that one straight at the goalkeeper. Rushed it a little there, Hegerberg. I think Brand need to put this ahead of Hegerberg. She gives it to her feet. And she strikes it first time there, Hegerberg. I think once it comes to her feet, she needs to take a touch. But she was under a bit of pressure there from Kuva, who was recovering quickly. So Wolfsburg now building out from the back. Here is Dijkstra. Knocking it in behind, looking for Lynette Berenstein. And Endler now shuffles back and collects the ball. Tarciane. Now Heaps. I'm interested to see if they still use Heaps in that deeper role. You know, when we get deeper in the Champions League. I remember Damaris Egarola in that position for OL Lyonnes last season. Or Lyon, as they were known last season. And she did quite well in there. I'm interested if they use Heaps, because Heaps is more of a traditionally more advanced midfielder. She has become more of a deeper lying player this season. I think obviously they've already got the sort of long-term replacement in Lily Johannes, who can play deeper. I mean, she can play higher midfield as well, but she can also play deeper in midfield. So they've got that. They've got an option there. Obviously, they've got Egaro, they've got Heaps, both of them aging somewhat. Probably past their peak. Still very capable players, though. Batcher. Now Heaps. Plays it forward into Schrader. Dumonet picked off there, and here is Svenja Huth, who just didn't seem to know where she wanted to go there, and she has drawn the free kick, and I think she's done well there, because she was going absolutely nowhere. She ran herself into trouble. Did a little pirouette, fell over, and has won herself a free kick. Yeah, she didn't look confident there in the central role, Sven Youth, more of a wide player traditionally. Choking on water here. Bloody hell. Apologies, there we go. Right, free kick into the area that bounces right through. Forget the mic's also attached to it, which doesn't help. But yeah, right. Near-death experience. Anyway, survived that, so we're back to the football. Free kick didn't come to anything for Wolfsburg. And a change now for Lyon. It's Tabitha Chawinga. And that'll be the end of the evening for Eula Brand. Chawinga coming on to the left-hand side. As if this couldn't get any more difficult for Wolfsburg, on comes another brilliant attacking talent. Again, it makes such a difference to have that depth, have those options. And now here comes Diani down the right-hand side, looking for options in the area, puts it in there, and it's headed away well by Janina Minga at the front post. He does really well to get that away. And now a corner for Lyon. And it's Selma Batcher over this. In towards the area, headed away well by Svenjuth. And now Albert. Engen. Back to Schrader, ball into the box, headed on well by Renard. And now it is back with Selma Batcher. Lovely outside the boot pass into Tarchiani. Love the fluidity of this OL Lyonnes side. Tarchiani and Batcher comfortable operating on the other sides after corners. Obviously Batcher on that right hand side for the corner. Ball into the box, headed by Hegerberg. Drops back to Ada Hegerberg, who can't quite turn it goalwards. Here is Chewinga. Now Tarchiani. Renard. Batcher. Gives it to Tarchiani. Still operating as the left back. Batcher just become a central midfielder for a moment. Heaps. Back now to Selma Batcher. Heaps. Batcher. Knocks it back to Engen. And again, OL Lyonnes exchanging it around the back. Here is Schrader. Engen. Now Batcher. One back well, and that is a OL Lyonnes free kick. Batcher there, caught in the challenge. And yeah, Beerenstein just overextended slightly there, mistimed it, and has caught Selma Batcher. Yeah, still 3-0 in that Chelsea game. 26 shots, 6 big chances, 4 of which were missed. So they've had a lot more chances than they've converted. Still not quite as ruthless as they should be. Real Madrid still trailing to Paris FC, but a chance now for OL Lyonnes, and Hegerberg trying to find a hat-trick, but she's poked it wide of the mark. But yeah, Real Madrid have just done a triple change in order to try and get back in that game, as they still trail Paris FC. But yeah, Hegerberg just couldn't quite stick this in the back of the net. So, corner now. Apparently. Because Swan has given us a goal kick a moment ago. Be able to see. I also don't know what the confusion is here. It's a great drive from Dumornay. I think it may be a conversation about a penalty, and there is a pullback there. Has that been given? I think it has. Penalty to OL Lyonnes. I didn't realise what had happened there. But there was a pullback on the collar of Melchi Dumornay. And so OL Lyonnes now with a penalty had a chance to extend their advantage. You imagine Hegerberg would want this to complete her hat-trick. So Dumornay drew the foul. Batcher still holding the ball, trying to get the Wolfsburg players out of the penalty area. Wolfsburg, though, trying to put them off as much as possible. And Batcher has it to Wendy Renard. A little surprised Hegerberg doesn't want to take it for the hat-trick, but it's Renard from 12 yards. And, well, you would expect to finish this with no issue. Renard. Couple deep breaths, steps up, And coolly dispatches of it. Johannes could have done better, got a glove to it. Wasn't after an eye. Wendy Renard from the penalty spot. And that is OL Lyonnes 3, Wolfsburg 0. And they are really in control this evening. Wolfsburg have not had a sniff. And that is a third for the game as OL Lyonnes extend their advantage. Good penalty, justified penalty as well. Pull on the collar of the shirt of Melchi Dumornay. And yeah, well finished by Renard, albeit probably could have been saved by Johannes. And that extends the advantage. And yes, Jules, it is 3-0 OL Lyonnes. Less than 20 minutes to play them. And that should be the game sewn up, really, if it wasn't already. I mean, given how uncompetitive Wolfsburg have been in this tie, you would think in this fixture, you'd think even without that goal, it would be comfortable to the end here from OL Lyonnes, but that just, I think, puts it to without a shadow of a doubt now. Here is Batcher into Dumornay. Not Schwinker, sorry. Batcher. Back now to Engen. Renard sends it forward. Batcher will get there. Cut back now to Chawinga. Batcher. Ball in. Chance now. Hegerberg can't get there. To Chawinga has launched it into the stands. Just didn't quite get their connection she would have wanted on that one. A lot of power, not much direction. Kuva sends it forwards. Not sure why Wolfsburg are persisting with just like almost two separate teams of players, because they're building up from the back short, and then they've got just 4 players on the halfway line. They knock it to centre half, go long, and then lose the header every time so far. Changes coming as well for Lyon. That was Lily Johannes. Didn't quite see it was behind her. But a double change coming for OL Lyonnes. Wolfsburg coming forwards now. Pop. Back now to Dijkstra. And here is Johannes. And now Kuva. Sends it up the line. That's how to play, though. Was she caught? Seems that way, but I think it will be a throw. Only a throw. Yeah, Hegerberg's definitely caught her off the ball. I mean, it's not a nice one at all. Definite foul, definite yellow card, but not given. Triple change coming then. Triple change coming for OL Lyonnes. That is Mary Antoinette Katoto. It's Ashley Lawrence and it's Lily Johannes. Not a bad 3 subs to be able to make. And so Hegerberg makes way for Mary Antoinette Katoto. You'd imagine it'll be one of the central midfielders for Johannes. And you'd imagine Tarchiane or Renard. It'll be Corbin Schrader making way for Lily Johannes. One American for another. And then Ashley Lawrence on at right back. And Tarchiane making way. Cat Atlas says, was this game expected to be more evenly matched? Absolutely. Wolfsburg, they're not the powerhouse they once were in the women's game, but they're still an incredibly strong footballing team. And I thought Lyon would win. I didn't think it'd be this comfortable. I said 3-1, but I didn't think it's the manner of defeat that's been quite polarising in how weak Wolfsburg have looked. I mean, I didn't think they were great against Vålerenga. I've watched all of the Wolfsburg Champions League games so far, actually. And I thought, PSG, they played really well, but PSG were awful. I'll be interested to see how they get on tomorrow night. I thought Vålerenga, they played really poorly and got away with it. I thought tonight was even more bleak. But again, probably the same level as that Vålerenga performance. But obviously OL Lyonnes are so much better. Ball across the box now for OL Lyonnes comes to nothing. Fourth goal of the game between St Paul and Chelsea. That is 4-0 now. Sam Kerr with her first Champions League goal since returning from that ACL injury. As David says, Kerr 4-0. David Clinton says, my prediction is still on 3-1. Wolfsburg will put one back. That was my prediction as well. So if Wolfsburg could nick a goal against the run of play, that'd be phenomenal. But yeah, someone who captained Sam Kerr in UEFA Fantasy, don't mind that. And a big substitution for Chelsea, Lauren James, back on the pitch the last 15 minutes against SKN St Paulton. That's a difference maker right there. Phenomenal player. Ball through the lines. Here's LYONNES. Pokes it round the corner. Katoto's not getting to that though. Love Lauren James. Great to see her back. Love Sam Kerr. Great to see her back. So yeah, Chelsea in control there. And they move to second in the table, albeit momentarily, with United, Barcelona, both having the opportunity tomorrow evening to usurp them. And Leuven, if they win 7-0 against Barcelona. So, you never know. But yes, changes now coming for Wolfsburg. That was Kessia Bussi, I believe, on for Alexandra Pop. And it is Levels off for Bielda. As they try and mount some sort of response to what has been a fairly poor showing. Ball out to the left-hand side, flicked on well by Huth. Bussi, Huth again. Coming forwards now, ball through the middle. Beerenstein bearing in on goal. Chance of Wolfsburg should score. Does score. Wolfsburg have got a goal back in this game. Well, it may not matter for much right now. That is a great move from Wolfsburg. Great counter-attacking move. Direct football from Wolfsburg. And Lynette Beerenstein caps it off with a really nice, tidy finish. And Wolfsburg there get a goal. This is so fast from back to front. Beerenstein bearing an on goal and buries it beautifully. Lovely finish. OL Lyonnes 3, Wolfsburg 1. Game on. Probably not. David says, LJ on for Chelsea. Absolutely. Very exciting. David Clinton says, yes, my prediction. My prediction as well, David. I'm buzzing. We'll see what happens in the last 10 minutes. I can just hold this now. That'd be phenomenal. The real action is over at Real Madrid, Paris FC. Still just 1-0 in that game to Paris FC. They haven't kicked on and got another. Real Madrid haven't come back into that game. Will anything change? We don't know. Sub for OL Lyonnes. That is Damaris Egarola for Caradia Taudiani. Well, that's not like for like. Piece together what's going on there. If they got them to play out wide. Do an A, I imagine. Yeah, it looks like it. Here is Batcher. Goes back to Engen. Renard. 21 shots to 2 in this game from OL Lyonnes. Wolfsburg. Both shots have been from Lynette Beerenstein. One crashing off the post, a great effort. And the other, a very tidy finish. So, Beerenstein's done her job. The rest of the team hasn't really. Aimless ball to the cross. Aimless cross into the box there from Selma Batcher. Not really any players in there. Took a deflection as well. Johannes made a bit of a mess of it, but kept it in her grasp. And I mean, I don't see Wolfsburg coming back at all in this game. So we're very much just seeing it out now. I mean, Wolfsburg will want to keep it at what is a fairly respectable 3-1. It's not too tight, but it could have been a lot worse. Ball forwards headed away well by Renard. Engen. And now it's with Corbin Schrader. Johannes. Forward pass into Chawinga. Batcher. Now they move from left to right into Lawrence. Back now to Renard. Chewinga. Now Batcher. Here is Engen. 1-2 with Egarola. Across now into Renard. Bit of an odd decision there to go into Lawrence, but Lawrence is fouled by Bussy, and that will be a free kick. Egarola. And that pass through to Johannes took a touch off the referee, so the game will have to be stopped and will have to be a drop ball. Also, are we seeing a comeback? I recall Japanese player Amina Chiba scoring a hat-trick for Frankfurt in stoppage time in 23-24. Oh, sorry, in 24-25. That's incredible. I didn't know about that. I don't think we're seeing a comeback. No, Oscar. I think Wolfsburg have been well and truly outplayed. They have got a consolation goal from Beerenstein, but, I mean, it doesn't seem to be any succinct change in how they're playing or anything like that. And with 7 minutes to go, it very much feels like they are treading water. Batcher, Johannes, so tidy from Chewinga, lovely footwork. Now Damaris Egarola. I mean, Egarola is the kind of signing you bring on just to shore up the game. That was after their consolation. They just brought in Egarola and slow it down. Johannes flicks it through. Few flicks there, don't really come off between Heaps and Chewinga. And it's cleared away. Here is Egarola. She's a tempo setter, isn't she? Damaris Egarola, the way that she just conducts the game. The pace she plays at is the pace the rest of the game goes at. Here is Renard. Now Selma Batcher. Egarola. Batcher. Johannes tries to play it forwards. They can't quite keep it in touch, and that will be a throw-in. Next time out in the Champions League for OL Lyonnes, they take on Juventus away. Tough fixture. I believe we may be covering... No, that's Thursday, won't be. What games are what next week? I'm not sure what we're covering next Wednesday. It'll either be Wolfsburg United or Juventus Lyon, and probably Wolfsburg United, because we love watching Wolfsburg every week. But yeah, and then unfortunately, the Thursday streams will not be there. So remember that for next week. If you're looking for a Champions League stream to watch, we won't be here next Thursday. David says, I thought Real Madrid would be up there, but they're throwing it away by losing at Paris FC at home. Well, I'm not. I understand your surprise, but I think Real Madrid have been fairly average in the league this season. They started really slowly. They're now starting to get back to the pace. They're still 4 points behind Barcelona, and Barcelona lost a game, which never happens. So, what else could they ask for, really, Real Madrid? And they're still not in a position to compete at the top of the league. They're nowhere near, for me, they're nowhere near winning the Champions League. I think they've got a decent side. They can trouble teams on their day, but I don't think it's enough to win the Champions League. Johannes. I think they did well to get rid of Carmona, though. It's a good sale. Ball into the box. Chance for Katoto. How has she missed that? Great ball from Elche Dumornay. Lovely move from OL Lyonnes. Katoto heading wide at close range. Not able to find the target. Yeah. And PSG in action tomorrow evening will be very amusing. Very interesting to see how they get on. So they take on Manchester United. United haven't really been... I mean, last week wasn't brilliant for them, or the weekend wasn't brilliant for them. But I reckon they'll probably be all right tomorrow evening. Big game coming up for them on Saturday as well, as they take on local rivals Man City, currently double cell leaders, Manchester City as well. So that'll be a big test for both sides, really. Batcher. City of their ability to break down United. United of their steely resolve. Lovely move from Dumornay down the right-hand side. Is there an option in the box for her to pick out? Players emerging. Cuts back for Johannes, and it's blocked wide. And a good recovery there from Janina Menga getting back in and dealing with the threat of Lily Johannes. Brilliant from Dumornay. The 1-2 with Heaps. Release her down the right-hand side. And actually, it was Pedamor's there, not Yanina got back in there to deny LYONNES. Corner now then for OL Lyonnes. Or is their full name Olympique Lyonnais Lyonnes? Because that's what OL means, right? Is anyone French in the chat? Let me know. Or anyone just knows. Corner now. What can they do from this? Can they add another to the tally? Ball in. That's headed away. Falls on the edge to Chwenga. Johannes now. They're just going backwards. Well, they're going backwards. Chelsea are extending their advantage. St. Paul's 0, Chelsea 5. David calling it an own goal. Rise and say LJ's just scored the weirdest goal. Well, I look forward to watching that back later. But yeah, it has gone down, I think, as an Abert own goal. As Chelsea add a 5th. Great hold up there from Dumournet. Now, Engen. Johannes. Out to the left-hand side. Here's Selma Batcher. And now Ingrid Engen. Into Tarchiane. Now it's with Ash Lawrence. Tarchiane. Back to Lawrence. Egrola. Lawrence. Johannes. And that's back now to the goalkeeper and launched away. And it drops now for Batcher. Egrola out to the right hand side. Here is Heaps. Plays through the lines. Melchi Dumournet now. And that's dealt with well. As time ticks away. And we close in on 90 minutes here at the Groupama Stadium. I mean, I imagine there'll be a short added time period similar to the first half. And first half was 0 minutes. Don't think it'll be that short. There have been subs, but Buster tries to put it across the box. Doesn't come to anything. Now Batcher. So it's weird, the ball's barely been out of play. There's been no injuries. The only stoppages will be the goals and the subs. Katoto. Back down the line to Chwenga. Here come OL Lyonnes. Trying to beat Sarai Linder, who does well to stand her up. 5 minutes additional time. Where have they got that from? Batcher. Johannes. Knocks it across to Renard. Tries to play it forward and that will roll through. And out for a Wolfsburg goal kick. But yeah, I want to round up the evening, but well, we've still got ages in the other two games, especially Real Madrid. That's only the 82nd minute there. Don't know how. I must have had like, what, 8 minutes added on the first half? Something stupid like that. 10 minutes in the first half. What happened there then? So those a little stoppages or one big one? No idea. Ball through the lines, looking for Sven Yehuth, and that'll run all the way through to Endler. Cat Atlas says, thanks for streaming the commentary and insight. Thank you for joining me, Cat Atlas. Thanks everyone that's joined me this evening. Appreciate it massively. And remember, if you are new to the channel, you can hit that subscribe button to support us even further, as we are now 1 sub away from 6.4k. And if you're already subscribed and want to help us even further, well, you can encourage other people to subscribe, or you can even become a member now. We will have more details about what the membership will offer you soon. And if you've got any suggestions of what you would be willing to pay £1.99 a month for, then let me know. Let us know, and that's something we'll look to implement. But yeah, we're just looking at what our options now. What we want to give is an option for people who really love the content to to pay us a small amount of money every month. And yeah, we're just looking at what we can offer in exchange. Wolfsburg now building out from the back. Here is Johannes. Ball forwards now into Huth. Pedimors can't do anything with that. Bit of a mess off the pass. Batcher. Breaking down the left-hand side. Great run from Selma Batcher. Taking on Bielda. Back now to Engen. Inside to Egarola. Johannes round the corner. Doesn't quite come off. No, he's knocked out of play. And Chelsea have a 6th, according to David Sam-Kerr, with the goal. A dominant display there, exactly what Chelsea needed. A lot of goals. As Sam-Kerr adds to, or gets in, well, she's already scored, actually, so adds to the tally. Heaps is offside, knocks across the box, and the flag will then go up. Yeah, Sam-Kerr with a header. Little surprise, a brace for her tonight. Great to see her back in action. Great to see her firing in the goals. She scores a 2nd of the game for her and a 6th for Chelsea. Dominant over SKN St Paulton. I did think about streaming that for purposes of the fact that we have a lot of Chelsea followers, but I've thoroughly enjoyed this game. Lyon have been brilliant to watch. I thought also may make it a bit tighter, but it's just been absolutely one-way traffic. And a fairly brilliant display, has to be said, from OL Lyonnes. They look dangerous. They look really good. Oscar says, busy day tomorrow. Not only 5 UWCL games, but also 8 UWEC games. Oh yeah, forget that, Sol. The UEFA Women's Europa Cup. Fortunately, it's not televised at all, is it? Or is it not televised that well? Glasgow City taking on Sporting Club de Portugal. Ajax taking on Hammarby. PSV Eindhoven taking on Frankfurt. That sounds like a good game. Sounds like all good games, to be fair. It's a shame it's not televised, and it's a shame it's a 2-legged final, because no one wants a 2-legged final. Heaps out to Selma Batcher. Sends it up the left-hand side, looking for Chewinga. Likely the last action of the game. Chewinga gets around Bielda. Across the box. Dumornay can't quite hit it home. And as Wolfsburg get this clear, and we tick towards that 5th additional minute. Probably the last moment of the game. There we go. Full time here at the Groupama Stadium. OL Lyonnes 3, Wolfsburg 1. An utterly dominant display, though I don't think the scoreline does enough justice there to just how dominant this was from OL Lyonnes. An excellent performance from start to finish. Didn't give Wolfsburg a kick, really, apart from the goal they scored. But that came very much against the run of play. So dominant from OL Lyonnes, and yeah, they look really good quality this year to go, well, at least very deep in the competition, if not all the way. That, though, is everything. We're back with more tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's fixtures are, of course, Bayern taking on Arsenal, the quarter-6 kickoff, and then the evening stream is United taking on Paris Saint-Germain. So join us for those streams tomorrow. We'll be live on this channel from 5:30 through till gone at 10, well, around 10 o'clock. So join us for that. Those are UK times, GMT now. So yeah, join us tomorrow. It should be good. If you're not back tomorrow, we are back this weekend with more WSL action. Manchester's derby at 1:30 on Saturday, and then 2 big games on Sunday as Chelsea take on Liverpool and the North London derby as well. And of course, more video content coming up over the next few days. We've got a tactical analysis tomorrow of Chelsea versus Arsenal for any Chelsea fans, any Arsenal fans who want to watch that, or just general football analysis fans. Look out for that tomorrow. And if you haven't watched the weekend roundup yet, I suggest you go and do that now. It's a very long one because we speak about Chelsea, Arsenal for a while in it, but I would say it's very much worth it. So there's a lot of content to go and check out if you are not done after this stream, but that is everything from me this evening. Thank you guys very much for watching. My voice is done. I'm going to go lie down and drink honey and lemon, and then I'll join you guys tomorrow evening, 5:30. That is everything though. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.